Hello, everyone. Phoenix Tremaine here, and I am almost caught up on the Beyond the Gates videos. Next week, I'll do a lot better. Um, I will be having the Beyond the Gates episode 5. That video will come out on Saturday tonight. It's going to go into the member section, and we're doing our live tonight because we do our live Zooms on Friday, where we're going to be talking about Beyond the Gates and, the other four subs too. But but there's a lot to talk about. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead and get started. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't, because I have lots of videos coming your way, not just Beyond the Gates. There are some shows in prime time that I'm going to be doing as well. And, so be on the lookout. I got some new stuff coming to you. So let me get me out the picture. And so we're going to talk about Beyond the Gates, where episode 4, where the episode begins with Chelsea worrying that her mom is going to be terrible to her because she's upset about the family meeting. She warns Kat that shoot will be terrible, which is why she wants to quit modeling. Then we have Vanessa is shocked that Anita wants her to. I clicked the button. There we go. Vanessa is shocked that Anita wants her to come to Bill and Haley's wedding. She wants to know how Danny feels, but Nicole speaks for her so that Danny doesn't snap. Basically saying that she is doing it for the girls because Bill is still their father. He divorced her, Danny, not the girls. And Danny pretty much just goes along with the program, but there's a lot of tension, especially when Haley shows up. Haley interrupts and wants to talk to Danny, hoping they can be cordial, even though she stole her husband. Danny lets her know that she is going to destroy her. Both Nicole and Vanessa swoon over this personal trainer. His name is Diego. And in the preview, we only saw the guy from behind, but Vanessa is going to have an affair with him. I was surprised that they had Nicole swooning over him too, but I'm sorry, Vanessa is going to get it on with the personal trainer Diego based on that preview they showed us. Moving on to a moment that had social media talking, where Bill looks for his daughter and finds her in the park. Naomi lets her father know he is basically passed away to her. Certain words you can't say on YouTube. Bill doesn't like how she is speaking to him, but hopes that she can get past it in the future. Naomi lets him know that he chose Haley. Now he's going to have to live with it, and so Bill, realizing that he's not going to get through to his daughter, hoping that maybe in the future she'll change her mind. He only has himself to blame, and that he just simply walks away. Meanwhile, we have Mona upset because Laura hasn't come to work. She's not answering her phone. Ted calls Nicole and lets her know that Laura is in the hospital. And just as she predicted at the photo shoot, Danny is being very annoying and causing a ruckus because and ruining the spirit of Chelsea because it's hard to model when her mother's nitpicking. But Andre's able to get through to Danny, and he basically, says, "Sit down, enjoy, let your daughter have fun, and enjoy the shoot, and just basically be a mom and not a momager." She, for some reason, not, decides, okay, I'll sit my butt down. And then they're all happy, especially Chelsea, that the shoot went great and Andre had a great effect on her mother. Meanwhile, Danny asks Andre if he could stay behind when everyone else leaves, so they can have drinks, and you know what's coming. Well, something's coming. And then we've got, yeah, I had to throw a dirty joke in there. It's what I do. Laura is seen in a hospital where she learns, I think they said 6 to 8 weeks, she's going to be out of commission. And of course, that leads to the scene here. She calls back Leslie, who we now know her real name is Dana, but she calls back Leslie and says that, yeah, they found Laura. She's in a hospital. Some crazy person ran off the road. And then, Leslie uses this to her advantage, which was her plan all along. She didn't care if the girl ran into a tree and kicked a bucket. She was just like, she just needed to get her daughter in that position. And so she managed to get an interview for her daughter when Mona says that she'd be great, instead of looking for a temp, they'll go give her a try. And, we're happy for that. Um, Haley has a surprise party thrown for her at the office by her coworkers, and her and Bill celebrate their love together. They have a great kiss, and they spend time together afterwards. Where one of the things I love about this show, and I mentioned it in episode 3, is that they show a lot of affection towards each other. There's a lot of loving men on the show. I don't see a lot of love in the afternoon, a lot of love on soaps. There are characters that people consider their ships, even when they're not showing each other love, or even when it's obvious the actors don't even like each other anymore. But we've got this show, it's only been a week, but we got this show where we're seeing just men, and not just the black men, all of the men showing love and appreciation and desires for these women. And I haven't really seen any women like really chasing after a man on the show. um, it's the men chasing after women, and even Haley, she's already got Bill, so she's already got Bill. So she's not chasing him because she's already got him. And that is just an interesting thing to see in general because on soaps, we don't get to see a lot of love, compassion. We don't get to see people when they're actually in a relationship doing stuff. Like we saw Jacob and Naomi, who I'll show here. You know how they're together, they're happy, they're supporting each other. And that's what we don't get on other soaps. We just see characters get together and then for some reason they break up and then they get back together again. Sometimes they get married 9 times. If you've been watching soaps as long as I do, I have, you know what I'm talking about. But they meet with Derek and Ashley, and Derek and Ashley, they talk about her first. They said it like it was 3 days, but it's only been about 2 days since she's been a nurse. But her first couple of days at work, and then Naomi talks about her meeting with her father and how much that hurt. But one of the things that really stood out to me in the scene is when I talk about love in the afternoon, when I talk about the character showing affection, it's not about them jumping in and out of bed and love scenes and things like that. It's like these little moments that stand out to me that sometimes remind me, like, my relationship, the affection, the touching. And this is just such a real moment, which makes it feel like they're an actual real couple because sometimes without even thinking, you just, stroking the baby face. You know what I'm saying? So, I really am enjoying the deep uh loving and affection that I'm seeing and the desire and the passion. A lot of soaps have stopped that. They stopped it around in the late 90s and they just started focusing on event storylines where something crazy is going on or some disaster. But moving on, um, Ashley is exhausted. She falls asleep, so Derek takes her home. He wants to be a gentleman, but Ashley don't want him to be a gentleman. She wants him to stay. And this was a good thing because my complaint in episode 1 is that Derek didn't know how to kiss. And, in this episode, which is episode 4, I guess he was nervous in episode 1 because I got to give him his props. He did a much better job in episode 4 with the kissing and, the little bit, loving that they showed. We also have, I don't know if this is two different places because if you look, it seems like they're at the same place that Kat and Chelsea are at. And one of the things I loved about this is that, you know, on soaps, and I think I talked about in the last episode about the ladies, in real life change their hairstyles constantly. And we got Chelsea with 3 different hairstyles in 4 days. So I love it. I love the looks. A lot of the black actresses have complained that hairstylists and hairdressers and even wardrobe sometimes, they don't know how to dress black women. Sometimes these actresses have to do their own makeup because some of these other makeup artists don't know how to do like the shades that look best on them. And if you go back to shows like General Hospital, where I've seen people for years complain about Portia hair that it never changes, and here we are, Chelsea 3 in 1 day, and everybody had brand new hairstyles for the wedding on today's episode, which is Friday, for the wedding. So I love that a character doesn't just get stuck with a look so much that, you know, somebody like Maura West who plays Ava, she gets a different haircut and it's such a big deal. Because like I said, in real life, a lot of ladies change their hairstyles. And these are little details that I'm enjoying. And I don't know if this will go anywhere, if this guy was just an extra, because we never said his name. He never said his name, so I can't look at the credits to see like who this guy is, but Chelsea realizes that he's sort of staring at her, checking her out. And so when Kat leaves, she sort of stays behind to, entertain him. You know, I don't mean jump into bed, but just entertain his attention. I'm going to end with Danny and Andre bringing us that other part of the love in the afternoon. And it wasn't just a simple scene of them getting in a bed. They danced together, they kissed, and then they got to, down to business and eventually landed in the bed. But I do have to say, the transitions they were using were distracting from the scene. Like if you look at, this transition right here, uh, just show us the scene, and I noticed that, I just noticed that when it comes to the direction of the scenes, that I like the beginning, but for this, I would have gone a different route. Because even when Danny was like holding her hair back and then she started to go down, like, wait, what? Is this going to be like a Days of Our Lives Marlene and John moment? If you know what I mean, the whole scene when they had the strawberries and they implied that John was gonna do with Marlena. Yeah. But they didn't really go there. They because it's tasteful. I don't want it to be tacky, but I would love a straightforward scene in the future and not trying to be fancy with all these freaking transitions and just, show a classy little love scene. So, and I'll add one more thing. I really would have appreciated if this kissing scene led to a shower scene because in real life I was thinking, yeah, if this is me, yeah, we would head to the shower to make sure everything, isn't sweaty and it kind of like smell like it smell. I know I'm doing too much, but if you in the comments in real life, would you have just went straight to the bed if you were going to have some activities before the main course? Those appetizers, I would like to be clean, but yeah, I'm having a little fun. Usually, this is the way I talk on the lives on Fridays. I don't bite my tongue as much. I just speak my mind. So yeah, this was a preview of how I'm going to be talking tonight on the live. But with that, we're ending episode 4, and I will see you in the next video.